Let's play a game of are they fake or are they special? The seller on eBay didn't mention anything about these being special. In fact, they insisted that these were real figures released in 1997. And they also, sadly, wouldn't budge on the price. But the pictures do seem to indicate that these are fake bootleg figures. But if they are fake figures, I'm gonna try my best to prove that they're fake and not just say, well, they don't look like the original, therefore it's fake. I do have the original figures and I am gonna compare both the American and the Japanese. So let's see. Looks real so far. All right. This pink bubble wrap is actually a nice touch. I've never seen that before. I mean, like all the colors are wrong. That's the thing that throws me off, but I'm like, it's a good fake. There's no tape. I think all the original ones are taped. There's tape, but it's been cut. So maybe the box is real because it's such a good box. I'll compare the boxes afterwards to the real ones. I mean, in many ways, they look better than the original. Okay, here's one that's real and one that's fake or special. We don't know yet. But I think the box is real. Like, how else can you get that close? Is this gonna be like, oh, it's both? Someone just took the real figures and just painted them? Because you see, look at the sword. The Buster Sword is like the biggest giveaway. They have a gold color on it, and it's red and black and silver, when this Buster Sword is not painted at all. So the box has to be real. See the tape? Like, it's identical. I'm intrigued. But let's get the figures out and we can maybe start to point out what's wrong here and not what's right. I'm still not seeing obvious signs of this being fake, but the one thing that's gonna give it away, before I even touch it, I want to show something about the original figures. This is the American version, that's the Japanese one. There is difference between them. Look how bendy he is. And they do have a distinct smell as well. Look how bendy the weapon is. Like, it bends just by its own weight over time. Which is why he can't really hold his weapons, because his fingers bend just as much. So I always have him just holding the hard edge because it's not as heavy and it's so short that it doesn't bend itself, but it could if it wanted to, you know? So that's gonna be a giveaway if the material is different. So let's get out the Buster Sword first. Hopefully I won't chip this this nice paint job. Oh! Look at that. Not only is it missing this stud that's supposed to go into Cloud's hand, I think. He has a hole in his hand there, and so that's made to go in there. But this one, see that bends immediately just by holding it. But this one, it's straight, doesn't go anywhere. But everything else seems to be correct. They have cast the original plastic. Now I'm really eager to touch it. I'll get out the hard edge first. So far, I hate to say it, but these fake ones, or special ones, are an improvement. Let's compare them, like side by side like this. The size is the same, the holes are the same, the text is only on one side, everything is the same, except the material. This one bends, and I'm quite comfortable doing that, knowing it's not gonna actually do any damage to it. But this... Let me do this. Compared to... It sounded the same, but okay. Now here comes the big reveal. Oh, it's bendy. Do the arms have articulation? Yes, they do. Does he have the hole in his hand? No, he does not. Honestly, the fake one looks better than this because of the mold line. So when they cast these, they did use better versions. Probably because this is the American one. It's the one that came in the big set. Those are probably worse than the Japanese ones, and these are cast using the Japanese versions. You can easily detach his arm like that. You can bend it like this, and the head can turn. You can take the head off almost too easily. So can you do the same with this? It doesn't seem like it. So I think that is the evidence that we need. The articulation is worse. Honestly, when I found these on eBay, I was actually hoping that they were gonna be worse so that we can kind of be like, haha, look how awful they are. But they're just generally good recreations. He is more stiff. I can tell that. The plastic is more stiff, but it's still good because you could argue that this is too loose. So let's see him hold the Buster Sword compared to the original. Boom, right there. It fits in his hand, and he's holding it, and he's not falling over. Let's do the same with this. Fits in his hand, he's holding it. And it fell off, right? So, in some ways, it's an improvement, but it's not real.
Fake, fake, disgusting.
That's the conclusion we should draw from this. Now let's compare Aerith and the Chocobo. Honestly, I wouldn't want to mix these and get them confused. I can tell the difference between these two because the feet on this is matte. I don't know which one of these are which versions, but this is the one that I have on display in my collection. And the reason for that is because this one can't stand. So the feet on the fake one is glossier all around, and the color is just a tiny bit glossier as well. So when in doubt, the glossiest one is out. Can it stand? Oh, it too stands pretty poorly. And wait a second. You see that? It's oily. And I didn't notice it until it left like marks on my background here. I'll have to wash that afterwards. What the hell is that? Ugh. It doesn't smell bad, but it's definitely a smell. It just smells like these figures do. And they do smell like the original, I think. Pretty much. I'm gonna put that... screw it. I'm sacrificing my background here. The one that can stand is probably the Japanese one. This one is the American one, and that's the fake one.
You want to buy from China? That's great. Buy from China. Buy toys from China.
Now, this, I think, is the ones that have the most wrong with them. Let's get out the weapon first. It's kind of scary because these are more rigid, so you can actually break them. I'm gonna be really careful. Whew. But this is the same. It's very bendy, the original. I only have the American one, and the only difference is the materia in the Japanese one is painted green. And that's the only difference that I know of. But this is really interesting. They have done a third option, which is to not have materia at all. See that? That's really interesting. Materia, no materia. You can almost slot them in. See that? Ugh! You see that? It looks like it's kind of wet. Is it wet or is it... I don't want to... I'm gonna try. Okay, it's not. I thought for a second like it was condensation or whatever it's called. Alright. It's a really nice face. The head doesn't turn. It is a rigid figure. It doesn't move at all. It's like a static. Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, this is the fake version. This is the American version. And this is the Japanese version. For some reason, they kept that. They removed the materia, but they kept that. Why? The face on this is actually pretty good. And the colors are great, except this orange. The American one is just wrong. It just made her silver all over. But the Japanese, it's more subtle. Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, there is a difference between these two colors. And I think there is. Silver and like a very subtle brass-like color. But you see, there's something appealing about this one though. You see that? There's something about it. The eyeliner is more clear or something like that. And her eyes in this fake one does seem to be blue. So American is green. The Japanese seems to be like turquoise, but still quite green, and the fake one is blue. Now let's check the weapon. It looks pretty good actually, annoyingly good, because that's a problem with this one. Because it's so bendy, I have to constantly turn it in her hand so that it doesn't bend one way. If I have her like this for a while, it does start to bend like so, and then I turn it in her hand, and then it's right again, and then it starts to bend that way. So I have to keep turning it like every few months or something like that, not too often. And while I'm talking about these Bandai Extra Knights figures, I'm gonna grab the opportunity to talk about the differences between the American and Japanese versions.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Because as you've seen, they can be quite minimal, like fewer details, tiny difference in color and stuff like that, the shininess of things, and so on. But sometimes they can be quite severe, and they are severe with Barrett. This is one of my favorite Barrett figures because it's so big and chunky, and it looks almost exactly like the concept arts of Barrett. So the obvious difference between these two is this one seems more shiny, the jacket is darker, the pants are more saturated, like a deeper green. The shoes, look at those shoes. See that? Compared to this, there's nothing. Here, there's like a design. There's 3 different colors. But the biggest difference that I need to show you is the fact that this one, look at that. It's the original tattoo, but this one has nothing. This video was almost just an excuse to talk about the Bondi Extra Knights figures because I'm not collecting them anymore because I have all of them. But now you can buy fake figures and unbox them instead and be like, hey, look how fake these are. By the way, check out my collection. All right.